Have you ever seen a high-functioning team where one person is like, hey, everybody, do you like me? Like, it doesn't work. What happens in a high-functioning team or a high-functioning family is that people are listening to themselves and they're listening to each other. And when you're seeking out approval, you've stopped listening. My name is Hudson. I was a former venture capitalist, and now I'm a coach to some of the world's most notable CEOs in Silicon Valley. In this video, we're going to talk about how to stop chasing other people's approval. Let's do number one, seeing how your need for approval is pushing people away. So the easiest way to understand how looking for people's approval pushes them away is think about the person who wants your approval, who's desperate for your approval. And notice what happens inside of you. You're like, ugh, get away. Or you're okay with it for a while, but then you're like, oh, this is annoying. I don't want to be the person who gives you approval. And when you're seeking out approval, you've stopped listening. You're not actually with the person. You're not present with the person. You want to extract something from them. It's like asking them for money, except for you're asking them for approval. And at some point they're like, God damn it, buy your own lunch, get your own approval. And so it pushes them away. How can you be friends with or trust somebody who's just gonna do what you want because that gives them approval? Instead of somebody who's actually gonna show up as them, say what they mean what they say. That's the people that you can trust. Just see how when you look for approval, it's pushing people away. Feel the hurt of that pushing away. Just doing it in and of itself, bringing that awareness to the table is going to slow down your need for approval. So the second one is letting gratitude all the way in. So when somebody is looking for approval and they get a compliment, here's something that often happens. Oh, I'm not pretty, you're the pretty one. Oh, that's not really true, I'm not that pretty. They do something like that, which is basically telling the person who gave you a compliment that they're a liar. And the other thing you're doing is not receiving the compliment. And if you don't receive the compliment, guess what it feels like to the person giving you the compliment? It feels like shit. Why would I keep giving you compliments if you don't actually receive them, if you don't enjoy them? It seems like a horrible thing to do, so you stop getting the compliments. The other thing about receiving compliments is if you actually receive them somatically, meaning in your body, if you feel them instead of dismissing them, they're gonna feel a little weird, they're gonna feel strange. You're gonna try to let them get all the way through you. It's gonna tickle some parts of you, it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable in other parts, you might find yourself getting rigid, and you just like relax and let the feeling move all the way through you. And when it does, when it moves all the way through you, what it's actually doing is taking the part of you that feels limited and it's challenging it. It's making the part of you that says, no, I'm not enough. And it's like, wow, there's evidence to the contrary. And you have to deal with that, and that creates an emotion. So if you feel that emotion, it can process all the way through, and it really literally destroys this egoic part of you that says, hey, I'm limited. I'm not good enough. And you actually can't believe it anymore if you let that feeling all the way through you. It really shows you who you are instead of what you think you are. And that creates a lot of freedom. So for me, in that journey, when I realized that I was calling people liars, I felt like such an asshole that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start allowing these compliments and just saying thank you. And the thing that I did was I was like, oh, thank you, which was like, I'm still thinking you're a liar, but I'm gonna be polite about it, right? That's what was happening for me. And then I was like, wait a second, what if I actually let this in? And when I let it in, it just like hit me over and over again. Sometimes it made me cry, sometimes it made me laugh, sometimes it tickled me, but I let it move all the way through my body. And the next thing I knew, I was like, oh, this is the thing that I've actually wanted that I haven't allowed myself to feel. Mostly because I was scared that it would go away, or I was scared it wasn't true, or I was scared it wouldn't come back. And instead, I just allowed myself to feel it. And the more I allowed myself to feel it, the less I needed it. It was like I was a person who was eating, but then I was always like not digesting the food. And now I was actually digesting the food, and it satisfied my hunger for the very first time. So the third way to let go of chasing approval is to actually feel the emotion that's underneath thinking that somebody is better than you or worse than you. This is why putting somebody above us protects us from our emotions, because if we feel our emotions, then all we can do is really listen to ourselves. So when you say somebody's better than me, then you don't have to listen to your emotional experience. And so then you're really concerned about how they think about you. But if you can feel your emotional experience, then you don't need to protect yourself from that. And then you care about what you think, what's your truth. It allows you to be in yourself instead of over in them, trying to figure out what will make them happy. And it's really hard to be in yourself if there's an emotion you don't want to feel. So it goes like this. Oh, there's an emotion I don't want to feel. So I can't be in myself. So I'm going to go be in them, and now I care what they think. So all you need to do is every time you notice that you're seeking out approval from somebody else, feel the emotion that you're not allowing yourself to feel. Right there, right in the spot. Even if it's just for 2, 3, 4 seconds, allow yourself to feel it. And slowly but surely, you'll start paying attention to your truth rather than other people's truth. If you really take a minute and you say, hey, I'm just going to chase my own approval, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game to say, oh, hey, do I approve of that? If that's your central question, rather than do they approve of that? Do I approve of that? Does that make me feel good? Is this how I want to be? That is a life where you feel very empowered, very grounded, and very able to have the life that you want. So if you like the video, please hit subscribe, or if you want us to make a video about something, just let us know in the comments. And of course, you can always watch the next video.